BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and indeed ahoy hoy, welcome to this here episode, BRB UK, it's episode 412. For those of you watching the video, I just really muffed up the intro because I am a pro. That's right.
It gets fixed in post.
Does it? So now I've just thrown myself under the bus. Brilliant.
Yep, well done.
This show's off to a great
You
start.
and me, we're over. We were so amateur.
I know. Anyway, I'm Dan. Hello. I'm back this week. I had to adult last week, which was unfortunate. And unfortunately, it was a big, scary adult week. I'm fine. Everyone is fine. I just needed to make sure I still had a job, which I did.
Is that implying that we were childing?
I mean, we were talking about video games, so...
You do a lot of things with yourself, Tim, that I don't want to know about. That's Tim, by the way.
Hello.
Tim, you're sounding mellifluous today.
Oh, yes. Well, I have a replacement mic. For the first time in podcasting, I have bought myself a microphone.
Well done, you.
Yeah.
So Tim should sound
quite small, though. I have to get close to it. I might have an alternate setup, but yeah, as you correctly pointed out, I should really have the mic in front of me, and it's now small enough that I can do that and fit it on the same table as my laptop. So
you could get a little stand for it, but anyway,
I get a little stand.
Anyway, before we confuse Tim with "Don't touch it while we're recording," Timothy. And the microphone. Jesus.
Yeah, let's not get me in trouble for, doing things on camera.
Inevitable
with
wank
colleagues.
joke.
Yeah.
Indeed. Coleman, say hello.
Hi! Did I hear right? Did Tim spend more money?
This one's a true investment, though.
An investment in a podcast that has so far cost me money in my life, maybe. Or cost other people money.
Hello.
Yeah, we do business in a very special way here at BRB Towers. And
we did have some successful advertising at one stage.
Unfortunately, the book we read was Art the Deal by Donald Trump as our business acumen. It turns out we owe someone $400 million, and it's all gone a bit wrong.
The thing is, it's quite liberating when we're not kind of holden to advertisers, that we can basically say what we want, and we don't have to worry about sponsors pulling away from us, and we can kind of say how things are.
Me and you just need to worry about getting fired from our real life jobs if we said something.
That point as well.
Yeah.
That. So you chaps got into all kinds of grammatical trouble while I was away. How did that happen?
I don't know. There was some kind of grammar talk going on the Discord. I don't know if that was to do with us or just going on. So,
hey, look. I'm back anyway to be your friendly member of the grammar police.
Can you be grammar police in an audio podcast or audio and video based podcast?
Yes, Tim. For example, data, plural or singular?
I think you'll find it's pronounced data.
Data.
Don't even start.
Always
don't even start. So, which of these sentences is correct?
None of them.
These data are interesting, or this data is interesting. No, wrong.
Is it? These data?
These data.
It sounds like nonsense, though.
Data are plural. Datum is singular.
Okay, but that's one of those things where everyday use supplants the actual...
No. Yeah. You're wrong. I'm right. You're wrong.
And when you see some data that's really sexy, you go, datam!
Datam!
Data. Or unless it's Lieutenant Commander Data, then it's just a singular data.
You also say datam.
Data.
Because he's one sexy android.
Yeah.
Oh, him and his slightly worrying plastic face.
Hey, would you guys like some gaming news?
Why not? We're meant to be a gaming podcast.
Well, we haven't got any.
Gaming. Right.
Stuff it. We could talk about Bethesda being sued for $100 million. We could talk about Ubisoft.
Is that now Microsoft? Is that now Microsoft's problem, though?
Probably. We could be talking about the Tom Hollander's Nathan Drake photo that went out.
He looks like he's doing long division in his head.
He looks like he's concentrating. Good for him.
Yep.
We could talk about we could talk about Ubisoft's new replacement for Uplay, which looks shiny.
No, Uplay is what it's called.
It's a replacement for Uplay and Ubisoft Club, and I'd forgotten that both of those things existed, fortunately, and then they reminded me, and then that annoyed me, and then I'm wondering how much this thing will annoy me more.
How will we cope, Tim? I mean, to me, it sounds like a fairly sensible idea, and it sounds like it's going to be their new universal platform, so there's cross-play, cross-save, all that stuff. So for consumers who game on multiple platforms, probably a good thing.
But it seemed to be a good thing when they announced Uplay, and Uplay was...
Uplay was always dog shit.
Yeah. Well-implemented piece of stuff.
Or we could talk about Devolver Digital buying Crow Team, the guys who make Serious Sam. But I thought, stuff it. Let's talk about something that doesn't involve the news whatsoever, and we could have a look at the gaming year so far, talk about some of the games we've been playing and what we've enjoyed, and what still... Because I was kind of looking at what's coming out and getting your guys' opinion on what you're looking forward to. Because some of the stuff we didn't, when we do these shows at the end of the year and we go, hey, this is what we're looking forward to in the next year, some of these games weren't even announced. And also, when I started looking at that, I started looking at some of the releases earlier in the year and went, bloody hell, that came out in 2020. How long, this year is really
2020
weird.
has been a decade to itself.
2020's been messed up.
I thought it might be fun to, instead of talk about the news, which isn't that interesting this week, we could just talk about video games, which is
sounds good to me.
Video games.
So I made a big list of stuff that came out this year, more noticeable type things that we could go through. So I thought, because this one surprised me as well, Journey to the Savage Planet came out this year.
Oh,
This came out last year.
It was early in the year, but it was a really good game, and I didn't go back and play more of it.
No, I didn't
like
play
I wanted to, kind of thing. But yeah,
and that's the other thing as well. I've gone through a lot of these and gone, oh crap, I have this, and I forgot I was playing it, and I really need to go back and play it because it was really good, and I put it on the back burner for other things.
I have to say, it's just made me realise actually how little time I have spare for gaming now, because I do try and cut. Well, no, I mean, there's one thing, there's gaming, so it's very different playing games because you know you've got to talk about them. That's a very different experience for I'm just going to play a game to chill out.
Yeah.
And you've got to find time for both is what I find. But since I've been, all of us have been working really hard this year on non-gaming stuff, I think we've all found that we've had to prioritise games in a slightly different way than perhaps we used to in the past.
Yeah.
Which is... weird. I mean, I've tended to gravitate more towards kind of just the short form game. So like stuff like Dead Cells,
times of a factor and stuff. But yeah,
exactly. Or Destiny, where I actually already know it's what it is, and I can just turn my brain off.
I also don't know about you. One aspect we haven't really talked about, but through the whole strain of this year, video games have obviously been a nice escape. But I don't know about you. There has been times where I've almost felt too stressed and tired to play video games when I possibly would have done a bit more.
Yeah.
And there's other times where even when we were locked down for a bit and there was time off and stuff like that, I've felt the need and compelled to keep up with the news and the news cycle and what's going on with that, and so spent a lot more time focused on that side of things as well a little bit. But yeah, as I said, video games have been a nice release. The one kind of shining light on the horizon for this winter for me, because I think it's going to be a slightly cold, lonely, dark winter this year, the one shining light for that is the fact that we do have some nice stuff to look forward to in video games. So that's a good thing, kind of thing.
I mean, it's a bit like kind
thing.
Of I mean, obviously, I'm really, really looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, I think we all are.
But I'm just trying to work out when I'm actually going to have the time to just sit back, relax, and enjoy it, because it isn't just something you can really dip into. To get the most out of games like that, you actually kind of need to immerse yourself for several hours at a time.
Yeah. I think that might be my... I might have to put Avengers on the back burner when that comes out, and then put that as my main game.
You'll halve their player count, Coleman. How dare you?
Oh, yeah, I had this
you
joke
and the
before.
rest of the world.
I had this joke before. Like, if they enable crossplay, then me, the Xbox player, and the PC player could get together, and we just need one more guy, and we can have a full team.
I'm going to see how many concurrent users there have been recently on Steam.
It's under
Like
1,000
or so. Yeah.
Oh,
Nat, good.
I've noticed the avenging assembling has started to go down. I'm struggling to get more
disassemble.
than two. Yeah, I'm struggling to get more than 2 players in a team sometimes.
Ooh, not good.
Ooh. Yeah,
You missed this last week as well, Dan. I did say that we may have to hand the torch from how much is Anthem currently worth to how much is Avengers currently worth.
Which is a shame, because Avengers is a banger.
Yeah. Like as I said, I think single player is a good game, and I plan on possibly picking it up, maybe even just for that.
It'll be dead by the time you pick it up.
Yeah, when it's cheaper. But then I can just play through the single player game and be happy.
Do you know what I want to do? Do you know what I want to do? Do you know what I want to do? I want us to jump on the AOC bandwagon and do some Among Us. That's what I want to do.
Oh,
I have been watching. That's a rare game that I've actually watched other people play, kind of thing, rather than playing it myself, basically. But there's been some good, amusing games of it.
It's like Tim's gaming version of dogging. he's there in a bush as someone plays Among Us in a car. Why do you always have to take it
to a creepy, dark, bushy place, Dan?
Because it's, well, frankly, Tim, it's you.
I've been watching the guy on YouTube. My name is Kevin. I've been watching his Among Us videos, and they are absolutely hilarious. Yeah, he sets himself like little challenges, going, right, when I talk to people in meetings, I can't say names or colours. So they're going, who is it? And he's like, the one with the hat, stuff like that.
Well, a few of the teams over at Eurogamer did a whole crossover one where they had a few of them from, I think, outside Xbox, and a few of them from Darksiders, and we're kind of going off on that, and I watched a few of them. They were quite entertaining. But yeah, I was going to say before, when you mentioned Cyberpunk as well, I don't know about you guys, I've been trying to go, Game of the Year is going to be a tough decision this year, because there's quite a few candidates already. I'm almost probably going to have to save a space for Cyberpunk as well. So
well, you don't know that. You might pick it up and it's a load of arse.
Well, that's why I said probably, and not it's definitely reserved.
Cyberspunk, if you will.
Yeah.
But but that's also why I didn't pick up Avengers, and why I've been a bit more cautious about the games that I'm picking up going into the end of the year, because I don't want to pick up any other big games, which might be bad news for Watch Dogs Legion as well. But
that's coming out in a few days as well, isn't it?
Yeah. And I've decided it's definitely bad news for Assassin's Creed Valhalla as well. But
I wasn't getting that.
Everything is being released on a single day this year, as far as I can work out, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I know for the PlayStation especially, a lot of the launch games come out same day as the PlayStation. Then exactly 1 week later, it's Cyberpunk. So that means I've got to burn through Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Have you definitely got a PS5 confirmed?
No. I'm going for the PS4 version, and then using the upgrade when it comes to PS5, because most of their games are doing that.
Is Spider-Man the one that's out before on PS4?
He's the one who can do anything a spider can.
I don't know. I think they're day and date.
There's one of the PS4 games. Oh, right, no, that's right. Cyberpunk's going to be on PS4 and Xbox, but then they're not sure when the next-gen versions are going to be available. So, yeah, I'm not sure whether I think I've got a PS4 copy reserved, and I'm not sure whether to wait till PS5. I don't know at the moment.
I think it's going to be a much more engrossing experience on PS5. I think it leans quite heavily on ray tracing tech to make the game really pop visually, as it does. And I mean, without obviously seeing it, I mean, you have to really, bear in mind that PS4 and Xbox One are now even the Pro versions are 5 years old.
But I know from, I think it was GTA 6 last time where I bought it on the previous gen and then didn't want to restart it on the current gen and kind of regretted that.
GTA 5.
GTA 5 it was then, wasn't it? Sorry,
It's gone forward in time.
I've gone forward in time. But,
hang on, is that a game that's been on 3 generations of consoles?
Yes, 3 generations
Well,
of
when
consoles.
the PS5 comes out, yes, it will be.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
And I liked that because that was one that you could play the online stuff and then transfer to PS4, and then all your online progress transferred over. And then I'm assuming you can do the same with PS5, which, as you get the free version, well, included with your PlayStation Plus subscription version of just online, I might get back into online because after playing it on the PC, I was like, oh, increased frame rate and it looks lovely and I'm enjoying this version. It's much smoother. And then went back to play the PlayStation 4 version and went, oh, no, I can't do this. But it didn't allow me to transfer my data over from PlayStation 4 to PC. Yourself. So instead, PS5 version might be the way to go forward for me. I like on this list of stuff that came out this year so far, on the top of the list, we got Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, which is my most played VR game this year. And also...
Yeah, you really liked that, didn't you?
What I didn't realise was my preparation into the year of 2020, because I think that came out just before the whole COVID lockdown, all that kind of stuff. And I was coming... Well, because I remember showing it to my boss at work and going, because he's got a PSVR, and I was like, oh, you want to get this? But he doesn't like scary games. And then I'd be finishing work, going home, sticking VR on, and then going into the world of The Walking Dead, and then... Outbreak.
Nice.
So I was prepping myself without realising it. So when you see me walking around in a leather jacket and a baseball bat with barbed wire around it, you'll know why. I've had a lot of practice.
Fair enough.
But then, one of my Game of the Year contenders is the first game on this list that I actually completed as well, which is Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales.
Oh, right. How is that? That's the Gwent... No, is it a Gwent story?
Gwent.
It's Gwent sort of. It is the basis of Gwent, but it's kind of taken to the next level with like different aspects to it and different like player powers and other things going on. It's a single player game where you're playing through a kind of story mode where there's like very loose exploration type of stuff, but then going from one location to the next just to set up another fight. But yeah, then the fight mechanics are all based on card-based interactions, and you've got a whole deck of cards that you can customize and find other cards and recruit other people to your army.
So almost like Gwent, then.
Yeah, but really taking the next level, and then a kind of woven story mode through that where there's like decision-based things, which are hard decisions, which will also affect like some of the people that stick around with you. Like if you one of them off too much, they'll generally come up to you and go, right, I had enough of this, I'm leaving, and you could lose.
Oh, I'm right. I am ticked off at you, sir. I am ticked off at you. I've had enough of your philandering and your something or other. Is that what they say?
Yeah, but kind of thing. Yeah,
I would have thought it'd be more of here's a story,
politics kind
get
of
into
thing,
an altercation with a person, then rather than go, let's have a big fight in the pub and slaughter loads of people, they go, I placed this card. And I think the world would be better like that.
Well, no, it kind of represents it's a bit you and your army, basically.
So it's a bit like kind of mid to late 90s playing Magic the Gathering in a pub with some other ultra cool people, is what you're saying.
But I really enjoyed it. Played it on the Switch. It's a really good fit for the Switch. I mean, it'd be fine on other platforms as well. I did play... it's one of the few games I actually sort of played in handheld mode and on the screen. I tend to play most of my Switch stuff just on handheld mode. But this was one that, there was enough going on and that it was kind of on the screen. And both myself and my flatmate really liked it as well, basically. So, and he'd never played Gwent before and never played any of the Witcher games either, so didn't really have a massive affinity for the series, but just really loved the game. So
I can imagine that is a decent one for the Switch, just for the ability to go, okay, I'm deep in story now, I can pop it into the cradle. Now I'm deep into card, I'll just take it out while I've got football on or something, you know.
Yeah, and it's a good second
You've
screen game.
You've never said that in your life, Cole.
I'm thinking of Tim here.
Oh, okay.
Coleman,
and we covered FIFA last week. I played it.
He played it, I didn't.
And the show ended with the Leeds theme. And then we got a
That's
copyright
it.
strike for that.
Did
worth
we?
it. Yeah. It was worth it though.
Excellent.
I thought so.
All right. Really? Was it?
So we had the embarrassment that was Warcraft 3 Reforged, which none of us played.
No.
Did anyone try Darksiders Genesis? Because I booted it up, only played a little bit of it. On,
I did.
Was this the thing that wanted to kind of be Diablo?
Darksiders Diablo, yeah.
And it wasn't terrible at doing that. It was quite enjoyable.
I praise.
The one thing that I found a bit awkward with it, because we tried to play it co-op, and it didn't, either we didn't do a good job of reading the information of how to like kick off co-op, but it seemed a bit convoluted, and I don't know why it was as difficult. You had to go to a particular point and set it off from there. You couldn't just have drop in, drop out co-op, and that seemed a bit weird. But yeah, like generally it seemed like a good, almost an extension of the third person action type thing, but just putting it into a co-op and felt, as you say, very Diablo-esque, very kind of dungeon crawly. But yeah, didn't play too much of it, but it was one I kind of meant to go back to, but the slight awkwardness of the co-op made it less likely that I would, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, maybe we can jump in for some co-op on that. Give it another go. We can try it.
I think we've all got it, haven't we? So it was part of Game Pass, and that's how I played it. So.
And I've actually set up my Xbox on the main TV now, so I can...
Ooh!
I'm spoiling myself.
Up in the world.
It was mainly so my missus can use it because I've been playing all the Xbox stuff through the PC. Dreams came out of beta this year. We finally got Dreams. That had an interesting story mode to it that I never finished and really should go back to.
Fantastic game. I wanted to build more. I wanted to go back and play the VR bit, and I still haven't really messed around with that. And
is the VR bit come out now?
Great. Yeah, the VR bit's out.
Oh, okay, so I need to make something to make you vomit.
That, so
it sounds like good extra life plans to me.
Like that's no.
Well, what we're going to do, you all place bets on when Tim's going to chunder through after Coleman's dreams into nightmares.
Hasn't been any VR so far, so.
Yeah. But I don't know, Dreams is one of these things where it's kind of like I really love the idea of it. But I just can't be asked.
I'd love to have had this game when I had the time to really get into it and really enjoy it. At the same time, it's a game I love to talk about because I think it's an interesting thing, and it's one that we covered in previews. And I like the studio, I like what they do, and I like supporting what they do because I want them to do more of what they do. Like I bought, I think, Little Big Planet 1, 2, and 3, and I played some of them. I think 1 and 2, particularly with my nephew. But I didn't play masses of amounts of it, and I never really went and built too much with it. But again, it's a studio I like to support. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that there's at least 2 other games ahead of it, I'd be quite interested in picking up the Sackboy Adventure thing just because it looks silly and fun. And
I really want it.
Pre-order costumes look quite cool as well because I want to dress up as Connor and stuff. But
I haven't looked into this, but I'm really hoping that the costumes that I purchased in Little Big Planet are available on.
I don't think it'll be that nice a generation later in a different game.
You
That'd
mean
be good.
No Rorschach Sackboy? I want Rorschach Sackboy or I quit.
I've got Spider-Man Sackboy. I've got Daredevil Sackboy. I've got Wolverines. I've got a lot of Marvel Sackboys.
But yeah, that's the thing. It looks like some of the pre-order stuff is like really cool costumes from other PlayStation properties, basically.
Right.
And I'm like, I really want those. I hope they're available later down the line because it's a game I'll probably pick up, but not for full price. Basically, is what I'm thinking. Especially as we've got the Astrobot thing already in the console for PS5 as well.
It's not Astrobot like the VR game. It's like the platformer. It's a series of mini games like the camera set of
I think it's
things.
Getting you used to the DualSense 5. But I also think from what I've heard, and unless I'm mistaken, that it is a bit more involved than that was on the PS4. It is a slightly bigger, more sort of fleshed out game as well.
Dreams I thought was absolutely phenomenal. I really liked the story. I do need to go back and finish the story, sadly. But yeah, much like you said, Dan, it's the same as the Little Big Planet thing. With Little Big Planet, that came out, I brought it home. You could have 4 players and a platformer, and then Mario hadn't done that yet. So that'd be me and my mates playing what controls as a really bad platformer together, but 4 players, and it's fun in that regard.
Yeah.
But then once the story's done, it's like, well, I suppose I should build some stuff. And I'll just play other people's things. And that's been the same with Little Big Planet. It's the same with Dreams. I've gone in and played loads of people's stuff. A lot of
I need to do more of that as well.
But there are a lot of people that put like, here's pregnant Sonic urinating on Mario. Like, great, thanks for that.
Thanks.
But there are some good stuff on that.
If Sonic was prego, you always want to pee when you prego.
Of course. And why
it's
not
not unreasonable. I mean, he's a bit shorter than Sonic. He's often, being a plumber, he's used to it. So I think he's just offering Sonic a service that no one else is offering Sonic.
I've heard that Media Molecule have been making improvements in making sure that, like, certain it's not just names that are jumping up to the top, and it is people's generally decent creations and things that are actually getting the top of these leaderboards and stuff, rather than you just going in and seeing a million Sonic clones or blocky Death Stranding, that kind of stuff. So that'd be nice.
Love that. Never played that before. Always loved it.
I think a lot of the Mario stuff got pulled as well for legal reasons.
Sounds like what Nintendo would do.
Yeah, but I need to go back in and check what the state of that is at the moment.
So did you guys, just seeing the next one's on the list, did either of you play Ori Will-O-Wisps?
Yes, we both did.
Yeah.
Great game. Love this game. Really just beautiful. And, you kind of think it's going to be a bit schmaltzy going in, but actually it's a really well pitched game. And, I think this is still on Game Pass, I believe.
Yeah.
And if you have Game Pass...
It's a mainline Xbox,
probably stay that way. But this is one I was kind of looking forward to going back to if I get the whole streaming thing set up on my phone, because that's one game I think I could play quite happily and that would be look good and play well, just exploring around, and I think that will work well in that environment, basically.
Yeah, I have been tempted into picking up a Switch version to take it out and about because, like I said, I don't know how Game Pass works on 4G at the moment, but when it was in beta and I went out and tried playing it on the tube as a test, I got a notification going, you've used 2 gigs of data. I'm like, okay, fine. And then it goes 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh God, no, stop, turn it off. I've got a decent data plan, but it was just the way it was climbing was scaring me.
How was the lag on 4G? Because I can't see that being great.
It was, it wasn't that bad, but it was more the sort of data consumption that went along with it.
Have you guys got 5G phones yet or not?
No, not yet. Works really well on my work's Wi-Fi.
Because, mine's like, 5G ready or whatever it is, or, 5G capable or whatever. But, not sure I'm actually getting a 5G signal as yet, basically. But
yeah, I'm not willing to pay more money for 5G just yet, because it is like an extra £10, £15 a month.
I didn't basically. So
when I'm due an upgrade, I probably will go for a handset that has 5G capability just to future-proof it, because I usually hang on to my handsets 2 or 3 years.
Mine's got 5G capability. I just didn't go for a 5G contract. That was all. Dan, you played Animal Crossing New Horizons, because I remember you.
Yeah, a little bit.
You venting your shame on the show.
Yeah, I was venting my shame.
How long did that last?
That lasted about a month. Then I came to the realization that I'm in my 40s.
Right.
And I thought you were going to say, I came to the realization that Nintendo developed the coronavirus to sell versions of Animal Crossing.
Yeah, well, there is that. I mean, it was a fun little. Actually, at the time it's released, it was a lovely distraction from, frankly, the abject misery
the world being on fire
that the world was in. But now that misery has kind of become normal background noise, which is slightly depressing in its own way. And I don't know, I kind of. Once I'd established, once kind of got used to lockdown and established my own routine in my real life, it turns out actually wanting to log into a game where it's all about routine and paying off a bloody mortgage. I think
it's a bit too close to home.
I kind of came to the conclusion that I'd much rather be, shooting things in the face
But just to point out, between Animal Crossing New Horizons, Ring Fit Adventures, and something we'll be talking about later in the show, Mario Kart Live, Nintendo have done quite well.
They've done a great,
at timing the release of things and that being around
suspiciously well.
Yeah, no, it's almost as if they knew what was going to happen. But no, they really have been killing it this year. I think I saw a thing the other day where 15 of the top 20 or something were at the moment were Nintendo games, and I would not be at all surprised if the best-selling console of this year is the Nintendo Switch either.
Oh yeah. A lot of Switches got sold
be
at home because people wanted to do the Ring Fit. I mean, it's similar to when the Wii Sports became the big thing. Like everyone had to pick up a Wii. It's similar with people want the Ring Fit because they're stuck at home, so they want to get exercise, and that seems to be the thing.
And it's meant to be a great game as well. Ring Fit. It's meant to be really good fun.
Yeah, I've got one here. I've barely played it because I figured out it does my back in, and I have
mate. Welcome to my world.
Coleman, can you just sound a bit more old when you say that, please? Just a little bit more old?
No, I've got a pre-existing back injury and...
a pre-existing back
injury and Ring Fit Adventures.
Also a pre-existing back.
All right.
And your emphysema. When you were down the mines and you were younger, giving you the old coal miner's lung.
All right, I'm old, I get it. But yeah, Ring Fit just seems to exacerbate
lung capacity of a gnat.
And it requires you to do a lot of squats and things that I can't really do.
Oh, and you've got to watch out for your pelvic floor, haven't you, Coleman? You know, if you do a bit too much squatting, it's code brown before you know it, isn't it, mate?
Yeah.
Did you guys play Doom Eternal?
No, just you, I think.
I played a little bit of it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't play enough, and my flatmate didn't take to it so well. And yeah, as I think I alluded to in the preview, I really like the gunplay. I really don't like the platforming bit of it that they added to the equation.
But you love platforming. It's well documented on this podcast. Timmy loves platforming.
I really don't like it when it's badly implemented. As I said, like Ori and the Will of the Wisps, I can recognise that's a good game. I can enjoy that game. I like that, even though it's a platformer. I don't like the platforming elements that they added to Doom Eternal. I did mean to go back to it and play more of it. And as I said, I really do like the gunplay, and I think that works really well. And I think they added a nice layer to the previous game. But I think that did help make it slightly less accessible as well. Like, I think it's a hard game to pick up if you haven't played the previous one a bit, at least. But yeah, like I think it came to PC recently as well. No, is it PC it launched on? I think it launched on.
They came out at the same time on PC and console, didn't they?
Maybe.
Yeah, they launched all at the same time.
Did it come out on Stadia? I don't know.
It came out on Stadia as well, yeah.
Oh, Stadia. Oh, that's a thing that happened.
Oh, yeah, that happened this year.
That's the only thing that's worse than the coronavirus, isn't it?
Well, you're the only one that's got one, Dan. So,
well, Tim, you sent out a joke email to us, sort of going, "Look, they're giving away 3 free demos, time demos on Stadia. F yeah, this is what we need." And I went, "Oh, there's like a battle royale version of Pac-Man running off a Stadia. I'll give that a try." And I booted up in browser. I could not get the damn thing to run. It just constantly crapped out whenever I tried to play it.
Yeah, the fact that that's not working with their latest Chromecast, or not at launch at least, that's
silly.
That's a bad sign for Stadia.
I think they're going to go classic Google, and they're just going to take it around the back of the shed and shoot it with a bolt gun.
Yeah, there may be less people playing Stadia than there are playing Avengers Assemble right now, so...
Oh, actually, what I could do, I can tell you how many people are playing Destiny 2 on all the platforms live, just to give you an idea of how terrible.
Let's get a live update. Also, while you're doing that, the next one on the list, I'm not sure any of us have played. I don't know if Coleman played.
Then why talk about it?
Yeah, I was just going to say, well, it's the one game
that's
I'm really jealous of the fact that I haven't played and would like to possibly play the Oculus Quest to play, which is Half-Life Alyx.
No, haven't played it. Haven't got the means. I haven't got thousands, hundreds of pounds worth of VR equipment to play it with. And
it does look sensational. It does look like it might be like, you know, one of the sort of tentpole kind of VR benchmarks to throw in a couple of buzzwords. But yeah, like it does look really good and really fun, and giving a lot of interactivity to the environment. And it's also something where even if it did come to consoles, which it doesn't look like it ever will, but even if it did, there's still the modding scene on PC, which I think they added the BioShock universe to it through a mod this week. And yeah, like that seems to be something where I can imagine this game being heavily supported by modders for quite some time, basically.
All right, I'm coming back to you hot from the press with a story of how bloody terrible Stadia is. So, the overall population on October 21st, Destiny 2 on PlayStation, overall was 289,000, and 254,000 of those went into PvE. 30,000 were in raids on Steam. It was 246,000 with 226,000 in PvE. And
raids coming to Ghost of Tsushima, I read today, by the way. Just
there we go.
Another breaking headline thing. But
they're right there.
Apparently not. They're coming to Ghost of Tsushima Legends soon.
I'm just never going to finish the sentence.
Sorry, go on.
It's all right. Anyway, so
go ahead and talk, Dan.
Okay.
Anytime now.
There were 3,000 people in Stadia.
Talk Destiny to me, Dan.
Do you know how many people played Raid on October the 21st on Stadia?
Oh, really?
282.
Raid Shadow Legends.
282.
282.
Were you one of them, Dan?
No, because I...
So you're letting the side down?
Really, am I? Am I, Tim? Am I? I don't think I am.
I think you are.
I don't. Well, I
think you are.
All right, fair enough.
Stadia could be successful if you just took all your Destiny and your Destiny
Stadia
pals.
could be successful if they somehow work out how to circumnavigate the speed of light. Until they can do that, and input lag isn't complete arse, it's going to be, just a bunch of bum. Tim's internet.
Tim's internet on the Stadia.
Yeah. Right. We need to crack on through this comment. Jesus, how many games are on there?
Yeah, we do. These were just I wrote a big list of stuff that came out this year, so you can kind of pick and choose, not go through
Have
the
you
entire
not
list.
learned what happens when you put a list in front of Tim?
Yeah.
He feels compelled to talk about every single item
To
in
be
that
fair,
list.
I picked and chose like a few things and had things to talk about, so I chose those things.
Neither of you did you? Oh, Tim, you got bought a copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake, didn't you?
Yes, and
How you doing
really
with that?
enjoyed it. It just seemed to go on forever. Like I did enjoy it, but it just seemed to outstay its welcome somewhat. Like from being concerned that there wasn't enough game there because they were making it in one part. I was like, I swear, like this should be further down in the story by now, kind of thing. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't entirely lose interest, and again, my flatmate really liked this and kind of bugged me to play more, and kind of, I don't know, it's the eternal thing. When there's a really big, long game and you put it down, and with what we're doing as well, like talking about a different game almost every week, and with some, big releases that have distracted me since, I haven't gone and played it to its completion.
You should.
And... yeah, I want to, because I want to see like where it ends and exactly what it does story-wise that I'm not sure about.
Without kind of spoiling it, it is a very good game, and all the new innovations and the looks and everything. Like, this isn't a standard HD remake. I mean, if you want to play the original in HD, they've done that. They've ported it to PC and Switch and things and what have you. But the game itself, it's really good. Voice acting's weird, but other than that, everything else is absolutely stellar with this game. The thing is, the kind of ending, it doesn't go the way you think it would go, and it is something...
Yes, and I've heard that, and I want to see that.
It is a game for people that know the story of Final Fantasy VII, that have played Final Fantasy VII. They know how that plot's going to wrap up, because without giving too much away, the name Final Fantasy VII Remake is more integral to the plot of the game than you would think initially going in. But yeah, it's a cracking game, and everyone who likes Final Fantasy VII should try this. Whether that now on the PlayStation 4 or later on the the PC and the Xbox One, I'm sure later down.
Wait for that. Version, I think.
Well, I do you know what? Playing it on a PS4 Pro, I don't see any need to hold out for the PC version. I'm quite happy with the way it looks at the moment. I've seen some in-depth stuff from Digital Foundry where they're like, oh, this doesn't quite render correctly on this. Yeah, but you wouldn't notice that unless you were breaking it down frame by frame.
But that's what they do. They're going to look at those things.
I know, but I'm not Digital Foundry. I'm
That's
Coleman.
the whole point
You're
of
not
their
a digital
existence.
foundry. You're a free man. Yeah.
Digital Coleman. Digital
Predator Hunting
Coleman.
Grounds, I played that in beta too much to then want to go play the full game because I was like, do you know what? I've just played too much of this game, and I hear the player base starting to drop off that now, so it's a bit of a shame.
It's like the Coleman touch of death.
Well, Arnie is in the game. They DLC'd him in, and he's actually Arnie voicing Arnie. That isn't like the Terminator in Mortal Kombat where he didn't voice. So hey,
They got thralls to do it.
They did. He just says it was weird. All through Mortal Kombat, he just goes rumors.
Anyway, what the
Gears
stuff's on there?
Tactics been taking up room on my hard drive, but still isn't released. And it hasn't actually got a date of when it's released on consoles. But I think it came out on PC. That's why it's on this list, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, it's
I like turn-based strategies. I like the Gears universe.
I don't think they plan to put it on console at all, Tim. It is a PC game.
No. There's a download that I've downloaded that's the 1.2 gigs, which will unlock at some stage when it comes to consoles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's sitting there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's
weird.
It's
Game Pass
XCOM.
somewhere.
It's XCOM with chainsaws.
Yeah,
basically.
and I'm quite looking forward to playing that.
I mean,
I think that'll be enjoyable.
There's nothing wrong with it, but it's pretty derivative in my humble opinion.
I like those type of games. I don't mind them being like, I want it to be derivative of other good things in that sort of genre and do its own thing just with chainsaws, and I'll be quite happy. So good.
Is there a map where you have to defend a patch of tomatoes?
Let's hope so.
I'll tell you something now. I think you're gonna like these tomatoes, Tim. It's coming out on Xbox One, Xbox
Soon.
Xbox Series X/S on November 10th, 2020, along with
there you go.
everything else this year.
I have something to play on my S because at the moment I have no other plans to buy.
Yeah, you get out
to
of
play
Hooray.
Game Pass. So hey, that's
Backwards
good.
compatibility.
Re-download that sucker.
Yes,
Re-download that
that's it,
sucker.
Minecraft Dungeons, that was fun for 5 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, I got very bored of that
See,
game.
I was
going
to mention Streets of Rage 4 because I really liked that game. I thought that was a really good remake, really well done, and I played quite a lot of it at the time. Sequel kind of thing, sorry. Yeah, but it was kind of
Clues
anyway.
in the title, Tim.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a good sequel and a worthy sequel in the new line, and updated it well and did a good job of still paying homage to the original games while making its own thing a little bit. And
It's a shame in some respect because it kind of knocked the wind out of Battletoads sales, I felt.
yes, I think so, because it did such a good job and landed so well.
Did a good job at doing that to itself, didn't it?
Battletoads was great. I really loved it.
It's fun. I really like the combat.
How long did you last in Battletoads, Dan?
That would involve me actually. That would involve me playing it. Just saying.
Streets of Rage 4, even though I played a lot of it at the time, I still want to go back and play more and unlock more of the other characters and stuff like that. I thought it was really good.
I'm kind of saving this one for post-COVID shenanigans so we can do some couch co-op, I think, because that'd be a good fun game night drinky thing.
Yeah, it's good for that as well. And I'm going to mention Man-Eater because neither of you played it, but
Yes, I did.
loved
I played
that
loads
game.
of it.
Did
It
you?
was rubbish.
Did you play it? I see. You didn't like it anywhere near as much as I did. That was right. I loved that game. I really enjoyed it from start to finish. I had a great time. It entertained me, kept me going.
Sharknado, the video game. Really? Is that your highlight of the year?
I didn't expect an open world game based around a shark to be one of my highlights of this year. But I had a smile on my face every time I played it. I played it from start to finish almost as quickly as I could and really enjoyed it. So
I really like eating
liked that
people.
game.
It put a smile on my face.
I got about 6 hours of gameplay and 1 hour of enjoyment out of that game.
Not a bad ratio. Not a bad ratio.
Too repetitive. You know?
Okay, well, I liked the game.
It's a one-trick pony. The trick's cool, but it's not.
But I really liked that trick.
I'm glad I got it on the
very
cheap.
meta. This is very meta. Did it jump the shark itself? Did it actually manage?
But it knew that, and it referenced the fact that it was doing that pretty much. But anyway,
could you, as a shark, jump yourself? Could the shark jump its own shark? That's what I'm getting philosophical here, boys. I'm getting philosophical.
Schrodinger's shark jumping. Schrodinger's Fonzie.
Yeah. Hey. Right. I'm going to pick one. I'm going to put my foot down here.
All right.
Yeah.
That's my hand, but never mind. One more game each.
Damn
I'm
it.
definitely going to go with two, I'm afraid.
No, you're not.
We're both going to go two. We're both disagreeing with you.
All right, okay. So one that I haven't played yet.
One of ours might be the same as well, though. But Iron Man VR is fantastic.
It was crap.
And really, you didn't like it?
So I was like really winding up to him.
Okay, I thought Iron Man was great, really well done, really enjoyed it. Again, I want to go back and play more of it, and haven't played quite enough of it. That seems to be a continuing theme, but really enjoyed it. Were you going to come in on that as well?
Yeah,
Coleman,
did Iron Man come out on a PC VR as well, or was it just PSVR?
No, I
it's
think it's a PSVR exclusive.
Because the problem that with this game is the PSVR is way too underpowered to have an enjoyable experience. I found like a lot of muddy textures, slow gameplay, crashing into things because the move controllers, and
really hoping
add a lot
that
of
this
problems
one
to this game.
might get a little bit of spit and polish when it comes across to the PS5, just so it looks a little bit crisper. Maybe that's might be my only criticism with it.
Was it enough of a commercial success that they'd want to sink resource into doing that?
I think it's enough of a highlight game and an attraction to VR that it's something they can hang their hat on even in the next gen, basically, kind of thing.
Because I know a few PSVR owners that went, "Ooh, Iron Man on PSVR, I want this." And then when it came
What did
out,
they
I was
do?
like,
What did they do, Coleman? Sorry, what did they do?
I want Iron Man on PSVR. And then when the game came out, I went, "Are you playing Iron Man on PSVR?" No, it's too expensive.
Oh.
See?
So,
Too expensive?
Yeah. Mainline game, man. I didn't finish it. I thought
I haven't finished it, I must admit. But there's levels I'd like to go back and replay. I think even having played it in the demo, that plane level is awesome.
I need to go back and finish it just because, it was a present. I probably should do that. But the thing is,
I'm grateful git.
if I'm putting on my PSVR, I want to be playing Walking Dead Saints and Sinners over this. I'm gonna say Last of Us Part 2, one of the biggest decisive games of the year. I really enjoyed the gameplay, thought the story was a bit meh, but they took all my complaints with The Last of Us 1 remastered, whatever you want to call it, that it was kind of slow, the stealth wasn't great,
Not enough strangling.
Being a big fan of Uncharted and then going for a game that looks and feels like Uncharted, but then isn't, as fast and is a bit, it kind of took all those and improved upon it. And I joked when it came out, it's The Last of Us for the rest of us, because it did have a more arcadey feel. And I need to go back in and mess around with the settings on there because there's a lot of things, there's a lot of stuff they put in for. You've probably seen the story where the blind guy is able to play Last of Us Part 2 and complete it and stuff because there's so many accessibility options in there. But I want to mess around with like the AI systems. Apparently you can really shorten your range of target where you're detected by other enemies and then put your AI's aggression up fully, so they just go out and murder everyone while you just sort of stand there and go la, 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 la. I want to muck around with stuff like that. It looks fun. And it looks like a pretty easy plat as well. I should probably go back in and platinum that game.
Yeah. Well, the one game that I haven't played yet on this list, and I'm kind of really looking forward to because I think it's going to be all of the fun in extra. In fact, there's two. I'm going to do a Tim. I'm going to put two in here.
Oh, sexy.
Fall Guys and Among Us. I'm quite looking forward to both of those with mates on Extra Life.
Well, Among Us didn't come out this year, did it? It came out last year.
Technically, it came out in 2018.
Oh, really? Oh, 2 years ago.
But it hit
kind of bubbled to the surface.
Yeah, there was meant to be there was meant to be a Fall Guys, Among Us 2 this year, and then they cancelled development and decided to roll it into the first game because they've already got their player base there, and it makes sense. But yeah, I got Among Us. I just have yet to boot it up. Fall Guys, I've had a few games on that and I've now uninstalled it. Like I know it's doing gangbusters. It seems to be one of the biggest games in the world. Every time I look on Twitter, there's fan-made costumes and people uploading clips and stuff. But again, it's one of those things. If you're not committed to the kind of one trick it does, then you're not going to enjoy it. I enjoyed it for couple of hours and then went, all right, I got it. I don't need more of this.
Fair enough.
It's one of those things where I'm not sure I'll ever play that much of it, but I can entirely see why it's successful. And I love the studio, and like I have unreservedly covered their games for a while because they always make silly, fun games, and I'm glad that they're really successful. So
I'm just glad there's a battle royale that isn't super serious, hiding in disused Soviet, suburban village or something like that. Suburban village. Suburban village.
Suburban village.
There we go. Suburban village.
I'm going to cheat and possibly usurp my last choice of Marvel's Iron Man, even though I like that. Squadrons probably has usurped that as my highest VR game of the year, and we'll see. If I had to choose one at the moment, I'd probably go back to Squadrons. But one of my games of this generation, and definitely this year, is Ghost of Tsushima, undoubtedly. And I haven't even gone back and played all the free upgrade stuff, and I haven't even completed the story yet. But I just love that world, and I love exactly how they've executed it. The combat, the world, everything about it. Like
the wind.
Right. I've realised you guys on the deadline that you've set, we've got 10 minutes to finish this show. So we can't.
Two games one game that I really want to talk about and one game that I need to talk about. So,
all right, you have the game you need to talk about, Tim. Regale us with your tales of the game you need to talk about.
Well, the game I need to talk about, and I stress that I need to talk about it because I was given a review code for it. I haven't had too much time with it because I only got it recently.
What's it called?
But it is a game called Hyperbrawl Tournament.
Very good.
It is a 2-on-2 kind of a violent sports game. And I was kind of drawn to it because it kind of reminded me of Speedball 2.
That's exactly where I was going. I was going to ask you, is it a bit like Speedball? That's why I completed
what I was saying.
Damn it.
But yeah, Brutal Deluxe. And it kind of, I think it can't not be aware of their game. It does do things slightly differently. For one thing, the screen isn't, the pitch isn't vertical, it's horizontal, so it's left to right. So you're playing either from left to right or right to left, depending on, which sort of thing you kick off on. They also divide it into 4 rounds.
Quarters, if you will.
Basically, it's not quite though, because it won't necessarily be that based on time. Well, it is kind of based on time, but you can draw a quarter or win or lose a quarter, basically. So if you scored more goals in that round, you win that round.
Right.
But those goals don't carry over to the next round. It goes back to 0-0. So every round, it goes back, the score reverts to 0-0, and you have to win that round, trying to win that round again, basically. And yeah, it's 2-on-2, and basically in kind of the default formation, you might have one person in goal and one person kind of going out. And then when you attack the other person's goal, you kind of want both your players to go up because you want the person that's not with the ball punching the other people in the face. And you can kind of punch and kick and scrap. And
like Cantona back in the day.
Knock out other players. You've also got a weapon that's on a kind of cooldown timer. And you can choose that weapon before the match, and you've got like different options. The one I really like is just the big massive hammer, which you can use and has an area of effect which knocks out anyone in that area of effect.
I have a question.
The other variation is like a big sword that you spin round and it cuts people in half and does them a lot of damage, sort of thing.
I have a question.
Yes?
Is there VAR?
There's no VAR. There's no VAR decisions. But there's like, I took a little bit to warm up to it, both in gameplay, and it's kind of a simplistic presentation, but that doesn't really suffer too much, apart from, especially when you're getting used to the kind of hectic, like, people's weapons and what's going on and the different stadiums that you're in, because you can have a kind of basic level stadium where it's just a normal thing where it's just you and your opposition facing goals and the only things between them are you. But then there's also like objects that can take place in the arena, so there'll be like spinning fences or fences that pop up and down, or different platforms and different obstacles in the way, and then you've got to play around those as well. When you're shooting, you can also like apply curl to it afterwards, and if you like wind up and do a really big shot, it will kind of, even if there's someone in front of you, it will knock them out as it goes through, basically. But that will kind of knock out someone that's in the way of goal, but not then go in the goal. Usually you'll then have to pick it up and still throw it in.
I mean, it sounds like there is a lot going on. Is it almost like they've tried to cram a bit too much in, perhaps?
No, it actually works really well when you get used to it, and when you're like, okay, that's his weapon and he's firing that now. You've also got like a hyper mode, I think they call it, or something, but that basically builds up as you take damage. So the more damage you do the opposition, the more access you give that to. So there's a bit of ebb and flow as to what's going on tactically with that as well. But basically that enables you to then power up and gives extra damage to your punches and kicks, basically. So that's really good if you as the ball carrier is going towards goal and the other person on your team does their hyper, takes out everyone in the way, and you've got an open goal to throw it into, basically. But you can apply some like after curl on some of your shots, but it's quite hard to do. I find it a little bit tricky, and generally it's worth just like battering both your opponents and then throwing it in the goal. But there's a kind of very quick respawn time. You get like a half a second or a second when, you know, the team member's not there. So if you manage to knock out both their team members, you can have a completely unopposed goal, but it'll only be for like a very brief window, and then they appear in the goal. So it'll always kind of tend towards the defense. So yeah, there'll often kind of be exchanges where you're trying to throw it in the goal and then they'll appear right in front of you and catch it, but then you can do the same thing to them. So it's not like it's a kind of one-sided thing. You just have to kind of develop an opening to go for your shot, because if there's someone in front of the goal, they will save it almost automatically.
And from the just very limited videos I've seen, it looks like actually the play spaces are quite compact.
Yeah, and at first it seems quite slow. The player movement is like deliberately slow. Even like one of the fastest players moves at quite a slow pace, and you think that's going to be a problem, but in a way it's quite good, because it allows you to get back if someone takes the ball
to where you once belonged.
Well, if someone is kind of running towards your goal and you get out behind them and punch them, they'll drop the ball. But sometimes that's bad, because they'll drop it and it'll just roll towards your goal and go in your goal if there's no one in the way to get there. Like, it's quite easy to score like own goals, and like there's some like carnage, especially when you're playing in multiplayer. It does play 1 to 4 player, where you can play like up to 2-on-2. I've only played it with one other person where we were cooperatively playing together, and that worked really nicely. Like it worked quite well. It's quite hard at first, but especially, as I said, when you're I didn't quite complete my sentence, but when you're getting your head around what everyone's powers are doing and what's going on at first, it's a bit tricky to see who you are and what's going on, especially when you're playing one player and trying to switch between the two players, and just like, especially if you're playing against a team where some of their armor is the same color as yours, even though they're a different color team, it can get a bit confusing. And I think that's something that could still be cleaned up a little bit. But generally, like gameplay wise, I really got into it. I think I lost my like first opening 5 games in my kind of league situation, and then won like a cup match, and that got me in a little winning streak, and I won like 6 games in a row or something, and now I've lost a few games and then won a couple after that, sort of thing. But it has a whole kind of season mode that's quite cool, but I wish you could play the season mode in co-op, because you can't
that's what I've heard. It's really strange, because it's trying to set itself up, you know, if we could do couch co-op in the world in which we live, it almost seems like it's trying to set itself up to be that, but the complete lack of more than one player to be able to enjoy the kind of campaign mode seems a bit silly, I have to say. It seems a bit of a missed opportunity.
Yes, that's a little bit weird, and also it seems like it'd be really easy if you just press the wrong button on the wrong screen. That's it. It looks like it would wipe your whole game, and then you just start again, basically. So that seems a little bit easy to do, which I'm a bit worried about. But then also, yeah, overall, I don't understand. There's a 1 to 4 player arcade game. And I think, and Coleman's left the room for the second to spoil it for audio listeners, but I think it would be a good thing for our drinking game thing as well. I think this is one that would work quite well with that, basically. But yeah, like, and like 2-on-2 works quite nicely for that as well. Like, there's usually 4 of us for when we do those sorts of things, and I think it's a game that will lend itself well to that. But yeah, I don't understand why. Like, it's a 2-on-2 team thing. It would make sense to have the co-op, and you could play all the way through the like cup matches, and it's got a kind of slightly rushed story, but quite funny story about kind of uniting the 3 mystic cups that you have to kind of do, and all this sort of. It's got a kind of fantasy element to it, but
cricket.
But the general comedy as well, like it's actually got a commentator that, so far at least, I don't hate. I really quite like him. He says funny like references and things that are actually good and make me laugh, rather than like, oh, that's another good shot. Like, just we talked about FIFA commentary last week being quite stilted and boring.
From what I've heard, that is the least of its problems.
I didn't say that. I said I felt offended when the commentators were saying things like, he's going up for a shot. Oh, he squandered it. I was like, what are you talking squandered it? I'm 7-0 up, you gits.
Unrealistic expectations.
But the commentary was good. And the one thing you missed a second ago, Coleman, as well, was just, I think this would be a good one for our gaming night, game nights as well, because it's 4-player. And it's quite good fun, and it's quite simple to pick up and play. But
I remember this Res a while ago. It's fun.
I mean, is it out? Is it on general release yet, or is it still in press preview mode?
It's on Steam.
I got a preview, but I believe it came out earlier this week. I think it came out yesterday, or by the time you're listening to this podcast, it came out 2-3 days ago, basically. So it is out. I was playing it on PS4, and I think it's available on all good consoles, some bad ones, and a PC thing as well. But PC
version's 10% off until the 27th as well.
Oh, okay. And I was kind of tempted to pick up a Switch version of this, and I'm not so sure. I don't know if it's been adapted. I imagine on the Switch one it might be a slightly closer camera, and this one it's kind of pitched out a little bit. And
you just got to move the Switch closer to your face, Tim. You won't notice the difference.
Possibly so, but as I said, I found it a little hard at times to distinguish, especially at first, like which one of your players was which, and who you were, and where you were on the pitch, and where the ball is sometimes more difficult to tell than it should be.
I would imagine that's quite a useful bit of information.
Exactly. And as I said, that UI side of things could be turned up, but like gameplay wise, I really enjoyed it, and I think it's one worth having a look at. Even if you're not like a big sports game fan, it feels almost like a beat 'em up game that's got sports elements to it, as much as a sports game that's got beat 'em up elements to it, kind of thing. And but as I said, I really quite enjoyed it. It's not the most polished or like shiny looking game in the world, but gameplay wise, it's really good fun to pick up and play.
Kind of reminds me of the Windjammers re-release.
Yeah, it's kind of feel.
I meant to mention that when I was talking about it. There's a few games that have been.
Or Disc Jam
of that ilk of this one, but in a way it does remind it. Like I was looking for something that reminded me of Speedball 2, and it is a bit like a mix of Speedball 2 and Windjammers. Like that's a good way of kind of describing it.
Okay,
but I quite like the mix that they've gone for, and I quite like playing it. So
I would like to see a physics-based game called Windjammers, but had nothing to do with frisbees. It would be trying to apply condiments to a slice of bread whilst in a wind tunnel of increasing strength. And that's what
Can we just do that in real life and film it,
please?
You
could do, I mean, ladies and gents, you missed my birthday last week. And frankly, if you wanted to make this sad old man
happy birthday,
I would like to have a physics game where I'm trying to put condiments on bread in a wind tunnel made, please. Thank you.
By condiments, are we going from jam all the way to mustard and back again?
Look, I've done over 500 episodes of this podcasting nonsense, and I've never once asked for anything in return apart from a review. Thank you, 5 stars, make me happy.
Not sure that's entirely true.
But yeah, if you can find it within the dark recesses of your heart to make me a stupid game, I'd be very grateful. Thank you.
It's like how I want a VR game that looks like a house simulator, but in reality, at some random point, a horse will just smash through the window and start bucking around in the house. And
awesome.
Yeah.
Have we still got time for me to add in a bit of Mario Kart Live Home Circuit? Because that is so good.
No. Save it for next week, mate.
Oh.
Sorry, Tim.
Those are the choices you made when you were running your mouth about...
You're the one who set the deadline.
Yep.
Yes, I know.
And then ran away.
Bye, Tim. See you later,
Bye,
mate.
Tim.
Bye.
He's off. Laters. Excellent microphone technique.
Did he just go away to sulk?
I think so.
If I can't talk about it, at least the viewers can.
Yeah, it does look pretty awesome.
That definitely
does
looks
look
like
very
a
awesome.
Yeah.
And the audio
So
listeners, I
It looks
went and
like
got the car
it
so
looks
you can
like
see the
Mario in a cart.
car. And look,
Tim has
ignition
Mario Kart
button,
Live
but
home
you
circuit,
put the
and
light on.
it looks like a 100 pounds piece of plastic.
Charge
that
it up through that bit. Look, see,
You can attach.
Lovely.
To your, yeah, I want to talk about this next week because I want to talk about a bit more in depth into the technology behind it. But
it's really good. I'm surprised, Dan, because you were the one that went on about AR gaming as well, and you didn't pick one up.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is all interesting, Tim, but we've run out of time, mate.
Yes, I know.
Unfortunately, so. And unfortunately, because we had this whole let's talk about all the games and upcoming and stuff, so we'll have to put a pin in that and come back to it, I think.
Yep. Indeed.
But quickly, it's very good.
Oh my God,
that's all I'm saying.
Tim.
It's very good.
All right.
I will talk about it more next week, but it's been a lot of fun and it should be great.
It's unfortunate Tim said it's rubbish and no one should spend £100 on it.
I know. It's an investment, though, so it's okay.
Can you just remind me, Tim, how much was that?
£100.
Oh.
Which, $99 in the States, but hey.
Well, I'd buy for $100 of them dollars.
For 99 of them.
Mm-hmm.
99.99.
Wow. At least they pulled that psychological trick on you to make you feel like you spent. Technically, I didn't spend £100.
I did not spend
It's an investment.
Than £100.
Excuse me when I put my adenoids back in.
It's literally better than I thought it was going to be, and I will report why next week. But
okay,
it's really
good.
I'm going to say things, then Dan's going to say things, and then we're going to go. Okay.
All right. Brilliant. Okay. I have to say a thing first.
Go on then.
I've been deeply offended by Kevin White this week because he's tried to spawn his own bloody fire team rather than play Destiny with me online. Kev, you've had 2 kids this week. Congratulations, mate.
Well done, Kev.
Get off of my land.
2 daughters doing very well by the sounds of things.
Nice.
So we're all very happy for you.
Twins, Basil.
Yeah, indeed. And don't stand too close to Kev because he will fertilate you. That's the problem. He's the most virile member of BRB staff. It's terrifying. I've already had 3 of his children. That's just speaking to him on the internet.
Impregnation by destiny.
Yep.
Wow.
True.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. Yes. Well done, Kev and family. Mrs. Kev. I will say if we unfortunately have to skip any community feedback this week, but if you want to get in contact with the show, please do so via the comment section on BigRedBarel.com, via our Discord, which you can also fire a link to on BigRedBarel.com, Facebook.com, Twitter.com @BigRedBarel, and YouTube, BigRedBarel TV.
Lovely.
Plug.
All I will say is, Ed, best video game dad, Kratos. And I think there ends the conversation.
Dad Quest.
Octodad.
There you go. That's a good one.
Right.
Dad Quest, look it up.
We have really got to go, but make sure if you do like this podcast, aside from making me a game which is condiment applying in a wind tunnel, the only other thing I will ask for is a 5-star review, or in fact, just an honest review. 5 stars are great. They help us climb up the charts and get noticed by the powers that be. But, any good constructive criticism is always more than welcome. So make sure you, if you have a minute, it'd be lovely to see a review. If not, just pop by Discord, say hello, let us know what you like, and let us know how we can make Tim shut up occasionally. That'd be bloody marvellous.
Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Podchaser, and Stitcher.
All of those things.
Review.
Every single one of them. So next week we will let Tim talk about Mario Kart Home Circuit, because we didn't let him because we're mean, horrible people.
I also have another review game next week, but
All right. I had a game that I was going to talk about but didn't. Coleman had a game he was going to talk about but didn't.
No, I didn't.
Did he? No, he didn't.
I thought you did. Anyway.
No, I just played Brutal Legends for the first time in 11 years and beat it.
Great game. Apart from the it would have been good if it wasn't for the random shoehorning in RTS.
Fine, it's fine, we'll skip it.
Did you get to play with Tim Schafer?
No, I'm fine. Let's go.
Okay.
All right, okay, we're going to go now. So
Gotta
anyway,
go.
that's your lot. All that we need to do is remind you that I have been Dan.
I might have been Tim.
No, we haven't got enough time. I've got to go. Can't
That's
say goodbye.
Coleman, by the way.
Mario.
That's Coleman. So thank
In a
you
car.
ever so much for listening. And until next time, dear listeners,
Mine's a bear Mario.
doodle bye. Shut up, you
No time for
bad.
outros. Got to go.
You and your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarel.com.
And I'll tell you what, Tim.
Yep. No.
Out of all the FIFA games,
Yeah.
this is definitely a FIFA game.
That is the sort of stunning insight that we get you for, Coleman.
Yeah.